Today, we are going to create lily pads inspired by the artist Claude Monet. You are going to start by taking your pencil, writing your name and your desk number on the back. Then turn your paper over. We're going to start by adding in our lily pads. We are going to use an oval shape. You are going to want some that are small, medium, and large. Spread them out across your paper. You probably want about 3 or 4. You can even have some going off your page. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add a tiny dot like a belly button in the middle of each lily pad. From that dot, you're going to draw a line off to the side. This is like taking out a slice of pizza from that big pizza pie. Then erase the line in between. You're going to repeat that on each lily pad. Your slice of pizza that's missing can go off in different directions. Now that I have my slice removed, I am going to add texture lines onto the top of my lily pad. So right where that belly button was, I have lines that lightly come off and go off towards the edges of the lily pad. Now it is time to add some flowers. Those are the lilies. I start with a U shape. I make sure it's nice and wide. Then I'm going to do a zigzag going across. Those are some of our petals. I even have some petals, some triangle-ish shapes coming off the bottom of that flower. I can add my lily flowers on top of the lily pads or floating within the water. Now that I have some flowers throughout, I'm going to do the petals that are peeking from the other side and even the little pieces from the center. Those little parts coming out of the middle are called the stamen. Now that I have those completed, I'm going to use my Sharpie and go over top of all of my pencil lines. Now, I started with a lily pad, but don't start with a lily pad. Start with your flowers first. It'll be much easier doing your flowers first. Once I have all my pencil lines covered up, when I do the details in the middle, I go slowly. It's easiest to start from the center and work your way out. Now that those are complete, I want my lily pads to look a little more three-dimensional. So think of it as Pac-Man. The top of Pac-Man's mouth is going to be thicker. So I'm making that bold black line on top of Pac-Man's mouth. Now along the bottom of Pac-Man is going to have a thicker line as well. So the top of Pac-Man's mouth and Pac-Man's bottom all have a thicker line. I will do that on each and every one of my lily pads. Now I'm going to add more details, like a dragonfly. To do my dragonfly, I start with a circle shape for the head. I'm going to do an oval for the body, and then small little ovals connecting for that tail-looking piece. Then my dragonfly has 2 big eyeballs. I like to color mine all the way in with that black Sharpie. Then I do 2 wings on each side of the body. They are long, thin ovals. You can add your dragonflies wherever you wish. I'm gonna add even more realistic details like bubbles on my lily pads. I start by just doing a circle shape with a line along the bottom. Then towards the top, I'm gonna add a little triangle. That is for that glimmer on my bubble. I can add my bubbles anywhere on my lily pads that I want. Usually it's just about 1 or 2 bubbles. That little line represents the shadow. I'm even adding some movement lines around my lily pads for the movement of the water. Erase any extra pencil lines, and there you have your Monet lily pads.